On a quiet Sunday evening in October 1938, an unsuspecting nation settled in for an evening of radio entertainment. What unfolded next would etch itself into the annals of media history, forever changing our understanding of public perception and the power of broadcast. This was the night Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre unleashed their adaptation of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds. It was intended purely as a fictional drama, a Halloween Eve special designed to thrill and entertain. Yet within minutes, this theatrical endeavor transcended its artistic intent, sparking widespread panic across the United States. Millions of listeners genuinely believed that Earth was under attack, that Martians had landed, and that humanity faced an existential threat. The broadcast became a stark demonstration of media's profound influence and the alarming fragility of public perception. It revealed how easily reality could blur with fiction, especially when presented with compelling conviction. The events of that night would serve as a powerful, unforgettable lesson. The genius and terror of the War of the Worlds broadcast lay in its utterly convincing presentation. Orson Welles and his team meticulously crafted a narrative that mimicked a live news report format, a style deeply trusted by audiences of the era. It began innocuously enough, with an orchestra playing light music, only to be interrupted by a series of urgent news bulletins. These bulletins escalated rapidly, featuring simulated on-the-scene interviews with bewildered scientists and frantic officials. Breaking news flashes punctuated the musical interludes, each one delivering increasingly dire updates. Dramatic sound effects, from crowd murmurs to the eerie hum of alien machinery, further immersed listeners in the unfolding catastrophe. The narrative itself was a masterclass in gradual escalation. It started with seemingly innocuous weather reports and musical interludes, lulling listeners into a false sense of security. Then came the first reports of strange, meteor-like objects streaking across the sky. These objects were soon reported crashing in rural New Jersey, drawing immediate public attention. What began as a scientific curiosity quickly transformed into a nightmare. The meteors were revealed not as space rocks, but as colossal Martian war machines emerging from their craters. The broadcast described in chilling detail how these alien invaders unleashed devastating heat rays and chemical weapons, systematically obliterating everything in their path. The world, as listeners knew it, was ending. Several critical factors converged to transform a radio play into a national emergency. The sheer realism of the presentation was paramount. The use of familiar radio voices, often associated with genuine news reports, lent an air of authenticity to the fictional events. The believable pacing of the narrative, slowly building tension and dread, mirrored how real crises unfold. Realistic sound effects played a crucial role, creating an immersive listening experience that bypassed rational thought. The sounds of panic screams, distant explosions, and the terrifying Martian war machines painted vivid, horrifying pictures in the minds of listeners. This auditory assault made the invasion feel undeniably real. Crucially, the listener context and existing anxieties of the era amplified the broadcast's impact. Many people tuned in late, switching channels from a popular comedy program, and thus missed the initial disclaimers that identified the broadcast as fiction. They joined the story midstream, hearing only the terrifying news reports. The year 1938 was a time of profound global unease, with the shadow of war looming large over Europe. Pre-existing anxieties about conflict, invasion, and the unknown were prevalent, making the public susceptible to alarming news. The fear of war and the fragility of peace created fertile ground for belief in an unprecedented threat. The immediate and widespread panic that ensued was unprecedented. Reports of mass hysteria flooded media outlets across the country. People jammed highways, attempting to flee their homes and cities, convinced that Martian war machines were approaching. Police stations and radio stations were overwhelmed with calls from terrified citizens seeking confirmation or guidance. Some individuals, driven by desperation and a primal urge to protect their families, armed themselves. They prepared to confront the invaders, ready to defend their homes against an enemy they could not possibly comprehend. The nation was gripped by a collective delusion, a testament to the broadcast power and the public's vulnerability. The War of the Worlds broadcast remains a cautionary tale about the immense influence of media on public opinion. It serves as a stark reminder that what we consume and how it is presented can profoundly shape our perception of reality. The event highlighted the critical importance of media literacy, urging individuals to question, analyze, and understand the sources of their information. It underscores the necessity to verify information, especially in moments of uncertainty or crisis. In an age where information spreads instantly, the lessons from 1938 are more relevant than ever. Critical thinking is not merely an academic exercise. It is a vital defense against misinformation and manipulation. The broadcast continues to resonate as a powerful example of storytelling's profound power. It demonstrated how a compelling narrative, expertly crafted and delivered, can transcend the boundaries of fiction and momentarily reshape reality for millions. It illustrates the human capacity for both boundless imagination and profound fear, often intertwined. This extraordinary event remains a key case study in mass communication psychology. It offers invaluable insights into how collective anxieties can be triggered, how trust in authority figures can be both built and exploited, and how the medium itself can become part of the message. The night the Martians invaded may have been a fiction, but its impact was undeniably real, leaving an indelible mark on history and our understanding of ourselves.